So that's it for the day now. Snow's dying off again, but it's a damp, wet, cold day. These are the situations where you don't get a fire going. Like right now, I'm cold. I'm damp. If I don't get a fire going, I'd be risking a hypothermic state. You want to be able to get a fire going quick.
Come on, Bear. You're coming in early tonight, are you? Beautiful fire, and you can't beat it, can you? We're gonna call it a night, so catch you on the trail tomorrow. Well, it's a good morning from camp. Just before 8 a.m. Bear's over tied onto the tree doing her thing, stretching her legs. Saku's here being a sook next to the fire. Aren't you, bud? Hey? I think he's looking for something. Starts with F, ends with D. It's a 4-letter word. Until Saku gets his you-know-what in the morning, he'll stick to you. But it's a nice morning here at camp. The fire's going, waiting for that coffee now. Have a couple cups of coffee, a pot of oatmeal, and pack up. And we'll be on our way. Can't wait to get moving again. You can tell there we got a bit of snow yesterday. I'd say it was only, 5, 6, maybe 7 centimeters. I wouldn't say it hit 10, but back here on the back of the tent you can see where the snow was falling off the tarp. So right there, that's a bit of snow there, you know. It's covered in the back vestibule area, so a bit fell. But that's it. That should come out pretty easy. I don't want to rip on it. It's frozen in there, though. You rip on that, you might rip the tent. So I'm going to dig that out, finish packing. The dogs are all loaded up, 2 of their bags. Got to put the raft on back of here once I get the tent in there, and tie the sleeping pad on. The boys are ready to go, and it's nice now, beautiful morning, cool and crisp here in Newfoundland, and we're gonna giddy up now down that trail and keep following Great Rattling Brook, which is out here. We got about 20 kilometers on this road until we get to a branch that crosses the river or the brook down there. So we cross over it, then we got another close on 10 until we get to Stony Lake. So we'll probably make it there by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening is my goal, if the weather holds up. So time to get at her. Looks like we had a visitor ahead of us this morning. Those tracks are coming toward us and going towards our camp, which we're probably only a half a kilometer away from. So there was a coyote of some sorts, or could have even been a coy wolf, but you know, I'd say it's a coyote, and he came in for a good look this morning, pretty handy to our camp. So Saku's off the leash, he'll be alright. He comes back to call, even if we've seen anything. But we're walking this way, and these tracks are coming towards us. Just back here, they went down up into the woods. So pretty cool. Didn't see him, but we came close to seeing him, or he came close to seeing us. Heads up, Zach. We got a fresh moosey track there. Old moose came out of the bush right through here and gone back the way we came. Looks like my lens is a little steamed up there, is it, or what? Anyways, we're not the only ones using this trail. There we bear. Come on, let's go. Other way. Alright. We got, what do we got in, boys? 3.5 hours. I would say 12, just over 12 kilometers on the trail here. That's rough estimate. But we stopped in now to boil a kettle, and I got the packs off the dogs. They're taking a break. Beer's tied on because we don't want to delay the break too long, do we, Beer? Hey guys, we'll take a little break, won't we? Beer's carrying a little more in her pack today. What's going on, Zeki boy? What you doing, bud? I put a few extra pounds in her pack. Right there, working her way up as she eases into the trip. And that lightens my load a little bit. With the raft and the paddle, and I got, well, the PFD, I'm actually wearing that today. I had it in the pack on the first day. But with the raft and the paddle and the patch kit, and you know, the tent and tarp and bit of food and whatever else I got in there, I'm at around 65-70 pounds. So I gave a few extra pounds to Beer, so it lightens my load. And this is our nice little spot. I just laid down a half a dozen boughs. I'm going to sit down now, kettle's boiled, and have a couple cups of tea, and we'll be right back at her, won't we, boys? Alright, let's go to it. It's actually nice to get in by this fire for, I don't know, half an hour or so, however long we're going to stop for. It's been snowing all morning, ever since we left. Just light snow, but enough that it'll cool you off when it's falling on you. I sweat a bit, you know, not too much. I
made sure to stop when I started to sweat a lot, but inevitably, you know, you're going to get a bit damp. And I was starting to notice the last time I took a break for 3 or 4 minutes, I just sat down to get the weight of the pack off my back. I chilled off in a hurry. So it's nice for this break to warm up by the fire here, and I'll open my shirt here now and let my under layer dry off a bit, and we'll be good then for the rest of the day. So I'm excited now for that cup of tea. Snow's coming down now at a pretty good clip. Small flakes, and it's falling heavy now. I'd say there's been a 3 or 4 centimeters over the past few hours, so it picked up just before we started break, a little heavier, you know. So I'm sinking down a bit. Nothing serious. I wouldn't want too much more snow. You know, I don't got snowshoes obviously, because before this bit of snow now there probably wasn't a whole lot left in here, only a bit that was frozen down here on this trail from skidoos and stuff, beating it down all winter. But other than that, in the woods it was pretty much gone. Now we are also in higher elevations here, so that's probably why there's a bit more snow still kicking around. But that's it. We're plugging. The weather did call for more snow again tonight as well into tomorrow. But again, I don't know. I haven't checked the weather update since I left. Haven't checked it on my inReach. I just want to leave it and just go with the flow out here, you know. But God knows how much we'll get. That's it. We just take it in and deal with it as it comes, you know. Loving it though. Very quiet out here in these woods now. It's beautiful. Wicked, wicked, wicked. Dogs are plugging along. They got their packs on. God love them. Yeah, it's all good. Great rattling brook still down to the right of us. Get out there for a few salmon now this summer. I'll come in here in the truck. Wicked. Just came across some nice little hunting lodge. Miguel Mountain Outfitters from Bishop Falls, Newfoundland. Nice little log shack right on Great Rattling. Must be a little guest cabin or something over there. This is nice. Hold on now. Cigarette butts and bottle caps in this tin, they say. Good on them. I like that. Good work. But beautiful spot. Another little shack there. I don't know if it's associated with this place. I'd say it is. And they got a couple of sheds in the works. So there is a couple camps along this old trail. Come on, Bear. Head of that now. God knows what's up there. Oh, Bear's pack. What'd you do now, Bear? Alright. Anyways, beautiful spot. Gotta fix her up now. Come here, Bear. You hooked into something, didn't you? This way, Bear. Go on. Over here. Good work, boys. Hey, Seku, good work, buddy. Good work, Bear. Onward. Onward we march. What do we got here now? It's high water, everything's flooded. Go on. Off to the side. Atta girl. Oh. Follow Sack. Go on, Bear. Good girl. Hey, good girl. So, that's it for today now. Snow's dying off again, but it's a damp, wet, cold day. I should have put my my military coat over this hoodie. Now I'm a bit wet, I'm cold. I really want to get the camp set up and get a fire going and warm up in a hurry. These are the situations where you don't get a fire going. Like right now, I'm cold. I'm damp. If I don't get a fire going, if I was out here for another hour and I stopped, I'd be risking hypothermic state. So very important that if you're going to go out and do something like this and go and hike or whatever on a day where the conditions are like they were today, wet and damp, you know, even if I had a raincoat on, I'm still going to be damp from a little bit of sweat and stuff when I get in here. You want to be able to get a fire going quick, and that's going to be the first thing I do here before I even set the camp up. I want to get a fire going, warm myself up a little bit, and then I'll get the tent going. So the dogs they're doing all right. I'll get their packs off them, and we'll be on our way. 3, 2, buddy, come here. Good boy. Here. Okay, hold on, straighten this up here. I don't know if that made a big difference. So everything's pretty soaking wet. I'm either splitting a dead log and getting some splits out of it and making shavings, or I'm looking for some lower limb spruce twigs on the lower limbs of a spruce tree that were sheltered from the snow. I see a few over there. So I'm going to grab a handful of them, and I think that's going to be my ticket to the fire. We'll see. Got a bit of a bad knee now, side of my knee. That little ligament on the side of your knee there, old hockey injury for me. I heard it back in the day. Oh, actually, about four or 5 years ago. So it's acting up on me. But I got enough twigs there now. I'll get a match to them, see what we can do. I got the twigs over here, look. See underneath here? In there, a lot of dead, dry spruce twigs. One of the best things out here in the bush, in the northern bush, for getting fires going. So let's see how it works. Okay, let's do this. I'll lay my tin over there somewhere. I'm gonna strike a match, and I want to bring this bundle up close to my body. This, the wind's coming half Great Rattling Brook there. You want to be careful there, you don't want to catch yourself on fire, but you got to cup the match and the twigs. You got to shelter it from the wind. If not, it'll be harder for your match to start, and it'll be harder for those twigs to catch on fire. Once you do get a little flame, then you want to ease them out into the wind, and that little bit of oxygen is going to help them go up like this. Some nice dry twigs I snapped off a tree over there. They're all dead. We should be in business now. I'm gonna put a lot of fuel onto that now. More sticks. Look what sack you just brought over. What's that sack? You found that, didn't you? Right? That's pretty fresh. I don't know why the hell someone would leave that there. But we know one thing, they don't got a clue. Right on the side of Great Rattling Brook. Hope it wasn't on an E. That's going now. You put anything under, it'll burn.
Oh, dip a bit of bread in my coffee. Does the job. Oh, it's hot too. I need it. Things got a bit intense there for a moment. Just as I started putting the tent up, snow picked up again. Probably the worst it's been all day. Still going out there now. So as I was putting up the tent, snow started going inside of it and everything else. So I kiboshed that plan and then I did a rinky-dink job there with the tarp. I just got it up just enough to shelter the tent area, so I could put it up without any snow getting in. I put it up and I fed the dogs. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get as bad as it got here today. It really got bad, and you know, I got wet, and I should have had my military Gore-Tex coat on, but I was just too warm. So, you know, I had not this shirt but another wool shirt, a lighter one. I had that in my Under Armour hoodie. Like, that's what I left camp with this morning when it wasn't even snowing then, just a tiny flurry off and on. But as the day progressed, it got, you know, worse and worse, but I was still warm. I mean, it's probably around 0, but you know, once you get wet and damp, 0 goes down to -10, -20. It's what it feels like. Your body is almost worse, you know, you're chilled to the bone. Anyways, that's it. That fire's dying out, and I probably won't even get it going again tonight. I'm probably just gonna bunk it out in here and eat a couple slices of bread, and I got a can of mackerel on the go. You see that? Just canned mackerel. So I'm eating this now and a couple slices of bread I had there. I had left over at the house. I might do a bit of rice on my stove later, because I don't want to go back out in the damp stuff. All my clothes is wet now. I got my dry suit there, to be honest with you, because I was going to use that rafting down Stony Brook. So I can put that on with this wool gear underneath, and I will be dry, but that won't be good for trekking tomorrow. It's not breathable. So, looks like, I don't know what the weather's saying tomorrow morning. I'll have to check that out on the inReach, I suppose, and get up and have a fire in the morning and dry out some stuff there. Because even my my wool gear I was wearing today, my undergear is not soaked, but it's damp from a bit of sweat and stuff, but it's not going to dry off tonight. So I'm not going to want to start tomorrow in that gear, and I'm not going to want to wear this stuff tomorrow, because if tomorrow's another day like today and we get into camp and I got nothing dry to put on, I'm telling you, you're in serious trouble when you come in and you don't got nothing dry to put on. Thankfully now I had a warm, dry sleeping bag. I got this baklava and my toque, and I got dry merino wool top and bottom, and 2 pairs of socks, dry as a bone. And that's a savior. Lying on the sleeping pad here. So, what a racket. Got a bit intense. Had to get in here, didn't we, Sack? Show you the pups now. Little Sacky boy. The eye of the sack. We'll focus it in. There you go. Beer's down there in the corner. Anyways, I'm going to have another cup of coffee now to warm me up some more, get that in core temperature warmed up. I'm not feeling too bad now. And that'll be it for this day. Decided to have a little meal after. Once I warmed up and laid back for a bit. Got a bag of lasagna there. Mountain House. So I don't gotta clean out the kettle or nothing after. So I'm gonna have one more cup of tea. I got a drop of water left in my thing, I think, a little bit. Yeah, not much. I may have to get some snow or something. I don't really want to put on the wet gear to go down by the river.
I'll probably run down to my long johns and put my boots on only, but it's snowing out there now a bit, so better off not getting wet and just grabbing a few handfuls of snow to mix in with that remaining H2O. But this is when the gas stove comes in handy, you know? After a long day and you're damp and everything's damp, you know, I could go out there easily and reposition the tarp a little better and have a fire underneath it like I was at last camp. But I just don't want to deal with it now. I really don't, you know. I'm dry and warm in here, and you know, the pups are doing all good. They go back out, they're going to get soaked again, and you know what I mean? Saku's there hanging out. So wrap him up in his old blankie now in a bit. But I mean, he usually flicks it off. I'm sure some people are now, oh, he's froze to death, he's froze to death. You know, Saku's not froze to death. If Saku's cold, I'd know it. He don't shiver, he's there, he's doing his thing. Beer's over there doing her thing. Her dog's Beer, of course, got that bit of husky in her. That's boiled now. Got that bit of husky in her, and she's by no means cold. She's still got her winter coat on, only losing it. But Saku's that Cape Shore water dog. They're a tough, hardy breed here in Newfoundland, and you know, if it was minus 20 or something, it'd be different. Then he would need a little sleeping bag or whatever. But that's that. The dogs are best kind, I'm best kind. That's supper for tonight. I'll be eating that, and that'll generate a bit of heat in my bod. It will metabolize and warm me up. So that'll be the end of her. I'm gonna pour it in, I suppose. I wonder if I can, you know, basically what it is, there's a line here. No, actually this one don't got the line. That's the alpine meals. Anyhow, what does it say? 2 cups. I gotta put it in there, zip the bag shut. Once the 2 cups are in there, stir it around a bit, close that for 12 minutes, and then I got a bag meal. I got no place to really set the camera up proper to show you, or actually, yes I do. Right there on the axe, look. The axe is good for GoPro. Anyways, see me? What are you at, boys? Here in the old bitter late April winter weather here in Newfoundland. That's what it is though, but it's all part of the fun, you know? It's all part of the fun. Anyways, I'll show you this now. Just wanted to check in there for a second. I was in the dark, you know. You know, there's a reason why the natives never traveled in weather, because you get everything wet. Everything gets soaking wet. I'm gonna fill this up twice. This cup. That's the best way to do it. Do this out here now, so no, it's messy. But the Indians, the Aboriginals, natives, you know, these groups, most of them didn't travel in you know, either bit of wet weather at all, because, you know, I mean, I was a bit ill outfitted. I've been thinking about this trip for a while, and I put things together quickly. So I probably shouldn't have took that Gore-Tex coat, that military one. It's a bit too warm. That storm had me all thinking maybe I'll need a warmer coat. And anyways, I had a little thin raincoat I should have took, and I could have wore that. Where's my spoon too? I could have wore that today. The upper layer and even the under layer, I could have wore both of it underneath, or over top of my wool gear. And that would have been fine, you know. I could have done it that way, but you know, they'd never, regardless of what I wore and what I done, the dogs' packs are soaking out there. Now everything else that was in my dry bag's good, but the dog's pack, both of them are soaked. You know, things like this, right? And that's why the indigenous people, you know, the Aboriginals didn't travel that way very often, because everything gets wet no matter what you do. You try your best, and then you set up and camp wet, and then you're delayed the next day because you like to keep things dry before you move on. Unless they were trying to make time and trying to push and you know, they were on a tight time budget, or they're getting back to their communities for food, they're erasing starvation. Other than that, they wouldn't travel when the conditions weren't great. It's okay if you're going out for a night and going home the next day. That's different. But if you're going out and continuing on day after day, you don't want to have things wet, you know. And on my long expeditions, you know, my real long ones, serious trips, I would, I stirred up good enough now. I would have halted today a lot quicker, I would say. Because it picked up and it did get pretty dirty out there. And for the sole fact I don't like setting camp up in wet weather, wet, damp, cold weather, I would have set up a lot earlier. But I'm doing this trip and I'm on a bit of a timeline. Because I get back and teach next week and everything else. Not like I'm not on a timeline on my trips, but I have a lot of time and whatever. This just happened quick. I planned this trip quick. I slapped things together. And, you know, I ended up getting wet. But, it's good stuff on the spoon, you know. Yeah, that's just how it went, you know. So I pushed in the wet stuff, but now I'm drying the tent and everything's good. But you know, I could hide this stuff. I don't have to show this, you know. I could say, oh, I set camp up when I was warm, which I'm warm now, but I was pretty cold there for a bit. But I could have said I set up and everything's good, and wake up tomorrow and everything's fine. But you know, I didn't. I was, you know, things weren't fine. They weren't terrible. But I got wet. That's it. Can't wait to eat that lasagna now. It's going to be good. And I suppose I'll catch up with you in the morning. That's a wrap from the old tenty poo. Another day is bestowed upon us here in the old bush. We got a nice bit of snow overnight. I'd say close on 10 centimeters on top of what we had yesterday afternoon. What's up, Zach? Dogs are hanging out. Now I'm gonna have to get a fire going to dry out mainly just my under gear from yesterday that got a bit damp, primarily through the sweating, and my Under Armour hood. I'm gonna have to dry that stuff out because I'll want that when I move on today and next camp. So it'll be a bit of a delay this morning, but that's it. So I'm gonna just throw on, my pants aren't too bad from yesterday. I'll throw my pants on. I kind of dried those by the fire before I got into the tent here yesterday evening, but I'll throw those on, and my Gore-Tex jacket, and pop out. I had no kindling or sticks ready to go for this morning, so I always, you know, carry on and say it's important to have that, and it really does make your morning more enjoyable when you do. And yesterday, amongst, you know, the stormy weather there, and getting to camp and covering, you know, almost 25k, I drove to the ground. I just wanted to dive into the tent, and I didn't even bother to gather any fire starting material for this morning. I did get a couple pieces of birch there, so that will help me, and I'll get a few twigs out there and it'll be no issue. But I'm going to be cold for a bit longer out there beating through the snow trying to get enough wood. That's it. You pay the price for getting lazy out here. You know, every time you get lazy or you don't take that extra effort, and it's easy to do when you're in the elements especially, it'll come back to bite you one way or another. If I had those sticks gathered, it'd be one match out there and I'd have a fire going and I'd have a good toasty start. Now I got to go out there in the cold, but that happens from time to time. We're all human. Yeah, so get everything dried out, and then I'll make a decision on what happens next. The old boots are a little frosty too, semi-frozen. They'll need to be sawed out. What do you think, boys? It's time to go and take on the morning, eh? Out in the old snowy Newfoundland woods. That's it. So even the spruce twigs I got are a little damp today, just a tinge, just a tiny bit, and so was the birch bark that I got yesterday evening. So I ripped it up into fine little pieces, and I got the tiniest spruce branches I could see, the size of a matchstick, you know, off the branches I picked. I got them all bundled up into a tall, tiny little bundle. Now I'm going to get my match. There's still a nice breeze coming off, great rattling. So I'm going to have to shelter this match as I strike the birch bark. The birch bark is damp. Match number 1 smothered. I might just have to strike the twigs instead. Let's see. Match number 2, no go. So the spruce twigs caught, and generally they're the best thing you can find out here. Hidden below on some of the low branches, as I said yesterday. I'm just trying to find the driest sticks I have over here. That one's pretty dry. That one there. This one here. I probably could have ripped the birch bark up to even finer, into finer shreds, but I didn't think that was necessary because I knew those twigs were dry enough. But I just wanted to try the birch to begin with, just to see. I'll put some of these damper spruce twigs on top now. They're a little damp. It's not very warm out now, you know. It's like April 25th or 26th or something. And temperatures are definitely below zero. I think it's minus, when I checked the weather device last night, they said it was going to be -2 this morning. And it feels like -2 right now. But, as I was saying earlier in the trip, Saturday and Sunday it's supposed to be up in the double digits. So, that's how it goes. We got a good fire going now. I just got to get some bigger logs onto it. You don't want to put nothing on too big too soon. That's going to kill your fire. Especially on a day like today, when everything's damp, you want to ease on the bigger sticks. I just had the dogs in the tent there until I got the fire going. I'll let them out now. If you get the spruce twigs and they're a bit damp and they got a bit of snow on them, just give them a shake, you know. It don't matter now, but to start the process. If even the driest ones you can find got a bit of dampness, moisture on them or whatever, just give them a flick, you know. Quick flick, and you'll be in business. Just like we are right now. Let's go, guys, come on. Come on, there. Good girl. Let's go, come on. How's it going, Barry? Hey, it's a bit of a winter wonderland here this morning, isn't it? Look at Sack go. There he goes, on the move. Excited to get out of that tent now. Hey, good girl. Where are you to, Sack? Come on, buddy. Good boy. Hey, the boy, hey, the boy. If you see that little hump, that's my dry bag. Can't see it from here, but that kind of kept the tarp hoisted up in the middle, because I figured the way I kind of had the tarp haphazardly kind of strewn up there, I figured there'd be a bit of pressure from the snow. So I actually didn't think we were going to get this much snow. It was more than what we got on the first little weather event a couple days ago, but anyhow, having the pack there kept a little pitch in the middle and worked out. So it's good damp snowball snow, Sack. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, 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 hey. Good boy. Bear, you want one? Bear. Bear. The bear. The bear. So I got my my socks I wore yesterday and the Under Armour hood and my undies hanging on the line there. I got rigged up, so I tied a line onto this line coming off the tarp. I drove a stick into the ground, so a quick little clothesline, And the stuff, my undergear from yesterday, now that I'm touching it, doesn't really seem too bad. I guess where I was just a bit, you know, wet and everything else yesterday, and just a bit damp and cold to the bone, it felt more wet than it was. So I'll put it out for a second now once the other stuff dries up, but should be good to go there. So not so bad as I thought. So I've done this before with a clothes hanger, having it come off one of the tarp lines, and if you just put a simple little overhand knot, I guess, that's what I've done there, and you can just slide it back and forth, you know. So if the heat is more in the front of the fire, well, you can slide it up to the front a bit. If you're getting more heat from the back, you can slide it back this way. So it gives you a bit of flexibility with your clothesline. Hey, Zach. Good boy. So it's just dinner hour now, and everything's pretty much dried out. I did give my undergear a good drying, although it wasn't as damp as I thought it was. My hoodie's dried out, my Under Armour hood, my day socks are dried. So, but it's still blowing, and there's freezing rain comes in. There's a bit of rain mixed in there, some snow every now and then. Tent, of course, and tarp and all that stuff is soaking wet, and the dog's packs is still wet. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to push on any further today. I might just wait it out here, and tomorrow, as I said, is supposed to be nice. A nice day, getting up to 10 degrees or something. So might make the going a little easier. This is the trail we're on now, and it's nothing but a real small trail. So there it is, that's where we came from. Bear's crying, now I got her tied on. It's okay, Bear, we're coming back. And then that's where we gotta go. So, I don't know if I want everything's wet. I mean, I'm not on no extreme timeline here. I think I can afford another day here to wait for this, you know, dirty old cold damp weather to pass over, because I think it's supposed to be nice now for the rest of the next 3 or 4 days. So I might wait for it to pass over and then get back at it tomorrow, right? Just kick around this camp, mess with some things. Yeah, I just want to get out in the woods. This is what I come out for. This is like, you know, this is not, I like going on these big long trips, you know, 1, 2, 3 months, real long expeditions. But these trips are training trips to get out and get in situations and put myself in awkward spots, like yesterday evening, wet and cold, and you know, this morning having to mess around drying things out. And every time you're in these situations, you're not only more prepared when they arise on a longer trip, you know how to handle them in different ways. So this is just about getting out and learning and having a time in the woods. Got the pups along. We'll probably go for a hike up that trail now in a bit, see what's ahead of us. So that's the plan, right? That's the plan right now. So sat back by the fire here now, just relaxing, you know, taking it all in and thinking about, you know, what did I learn here so far in this trip? Well, I learned not to, it doesn't matter if I'm only going out for 6 or 7 days. Don't get complacent. I got a little complacent with regards to packing and not throwing in a bit of rain gear, you know, proper light rain gear that I can wear when it's warm out, you know, because it was warm for most of yesterday. That's why I didn't want to put on this heavier coat. So I went in my hoodie and got wet. You know, I mean, I probably could have stripped down and just put this on, but I'm pushing and I'm going, I'm in the moment, you know. I just say whatever, I'll keep plugging until the day's end. I'm not feeling cold because I'm warm and my body's moving. You know, not get complacent there. It's on a smaller trip for me. That's what happened here yesterday for a little bit. You know, I got a little complacent because I'm not on one of these big, you know, 700 kilometer, 1000 kilometer, whatever it is. I'm not out for 2 or 3 months. I don't got to be as particular. I'm not going as far from home. Everything will be fine. Well, it don't matter. You know, you can go out in your backyard for a night, right? Nowhere. You can go 5, 10 kilometers, walk out your back door and go out in the bush behind your house if you have that opportunity, or drive down the road and go in the woods a few minutes. And you know, you can think, oh, well, boy, everything's going to be okay. Well, no. If you get damp, cold, wet weather, like yesterday, things might not be okay if you don't got dry wool gear and dry sleeping gear like I had, or if you don't know how to get a fire going quick under damp, wet conditions when everything's wet. Which fortunately and thankfully I practiced as much as I can and as much as I could, and I had no trouble getting that done. But I mean, those are the things that, you know, that happen when you get complacent and you know, you're out in the woods and not taking it as serious as you should be, right? Very easy to get yourself in a pickle out here. So take it from my situation here over the last 24 hours, you know, you gotta have all the goods. You gotta be ready from all angles. So no harm done, good laughs had, and I'm just happy to be out in the bush, you know, and it's a beautiful place here on the side of Great Rattling Brook. You gotta love it. What are you at, boy? Over the grass, don't you? The wind is strong northeast right now. I had to move the fire pit up here. It was getting a little too close to the tent for my liking when the wind picked up, so it's up here now, and we're gonna warm up by the fire this evening instead of being cooped up in the tent and just confined to the sleeping bag, because it's you know, pretty shivery last night, and it will be again tonight. It's just that kind of weather. So it'll be nice to have a few boughs down up here, and we'll sit down and, you know, hone my axe edge, and if I get a good enough spot and there's not too much snow or anything falling, I might come up here and read my book. So it's going to be a fun little project for the rest of the day. Hot for you? What's Bear doing? On the bows? Yeah. Hey Bear. Bear. What's going on? Good girl. Good boys. Whew. The oatmeal's hot, so is the fire. They'll both burn the lips off you. Man, so I found some logs that people had been in here cutting wood years ago. They're almost rotted to pieces, but I grabbed them and I carried them over and I got a great little fire reflector wall made up. And then I used a few more over here behind us and made a back wall to kind of block some wind from sweeping from the northeast like it is. But buddy is kicking off some heat. I got a nice bed of boughs laid down beneath us. Fire's going. Warming my feet. Oh yeah. My boots are a bit damp. I was walking through. Look at the steam coming off them. Whew. I was walking through some pretty deep puddles there yesterday. Some of them were almost over the boot, where the trail was flooded in a lot of areas when I was getting into the marshlands here. And there was a couple times the stream almost ran on the trail. So boots got a little damp, even though they're Gore-Tex, but I think I went over the tops, as I'm saying. But oh, this is real nice now. And for those of you, you know, I mean, we're all conscious about the environment, but some people are real sticky on breaking the boughs off. And I know if it's private land or whatever, you know, you got to be careful. Well, you know, you don't be careful, you just don't do it. But in crown land and stuff like I am now, I mean, I'm deep in the woods. To minimize the impact when you're breaking boughs, all I do is break the tips off. So you got a big bushy bough, look for the big ones, and then you break the tip off and you leave two branchlets, one or two branchlets beneath, and or one on either side of the main stem, and those will become the dominant branch in about a year or so. And then if anyone comes back in a couple of years' time, they'd never know you were there. So it would leave no trace. And all you do is just, you're breaking the tip of the bough. So keep that in mind. We want to leave as minimal trace as possible, other than a scattered fire pit, which, you know, if it's in the summer, I always cover them up. And I'll probably try to cover these ones up with some moss that's available. I did that with the last campsite, but some moss that's showing, I might try to cover up the fire pits. But you know, sometimes in the winter, that's it, you can't. or when there's a lot of snow on the ground. But other than that, I mean, I leave no trace and a few boughs, right? Here and there. And the wood you cut down, and I mean all the wood I've gotten for this fire, I used my hands. So I just broke off dead logs that were all around here. A lot of them were damp and rotted on the forest floor. And once that fire gets going real hot with my smaller twigs, it'll burn anything. So, great little spot here now, loving it. Having a cup of oatmeal. You gotta love it. Dogs are about KO too. They're loving the heat, getting in front of the fire, reclining on this nice couch of boughs, and we've all been wet, damp, and cold for the last 24 hours. So this is nice. Another little trick to minimize dishes, I suppose, where I only go with one pot, and the oatmeal gets real caught up on the crevices inside the edges of the pot and up above on the lip. So I just do it with my cup. It's a lot easier to clean. I go down there and one wipe with my hand in the river, and she'll be all cleaned up. So for those who are interested about what I'm eating on this trip and what I have for food, the answer is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I would say, and I didn't even crunch numbers, I just didn't take a whole lot of food for various reasons, and I'll let you know in a second. But I got probably, I don't want to burn my boots, that's happened before. I maybe got about 2,000 calories per day, and I'm burning far more than that. I have one pasta for every evening. I have a packet and a cup of oatmeal in the morning, so about 2 cups of oatmeal in the morning, and 2 Cliff Bars during the day. Other than that, I had 2 tins of mackerel and 2 tins of herring, and I had a tin of tuna. So yeah, and other than that, that's it. I had coffee, tea. I ground some of my own coffee, as I mentioned, or I don't know if I did or not, but I did. And then I had some instant stuff. I had tea bags. I got a couple packs of Lipton cup of soup, and I had 1 little Easter egg. So anyways, it averaged out. I was doing the math earlier. My breakfast is probably around 450 calories. Supper's around 1,000, between 800 and 1,000. You know, so that's between 1,300 and 1,500. And then a couple Cliff Bars, that's around 500 calories, and a couple odds and ends with snacks. And I have, so I think I had 10 sidekick meals, right? So I got a couple extra suppers too, just in case we're out for a bit longer. I don't want to starve myself, but for me, when I go on longer trips and I go longer times without resupplies, and I'm doing strenuous stuff, I'm never eating what my body needs. I'm always in the red with regards to calories lost throughout the day. I would say 99% of the time. Because on those trips I bring, like, 3,500 calories or so. It's all about what I can carry on my back. Because when you're backpacking and portaging for long distances, it's hard to carry a lot. So when I haven't done this in a while, but I took out not very much food. It's not I can't hunt now, I can't fish, neither one of those seasons are open, so I'm forced to deal with what I have. And of course, if I'm in life or death situation, well, I'll have just had a snare, because I have a few of those there for an emergency. And I always have a bit of snare wire on me, but other than that, there's nothing I can do, so I have what with, you know, the food that I have is what I have. I can run on less, you know, and I like to do it every so often, because if I find myself in an expedition where I'm low on food, it could be multiple weeks until I reach a resupply or I get someone to come in, or, you know, maybe I'm doing a trip where there's no resupply. So I mean, we all know, you know, you can go 3 weeks without food. Probably not as long if you're on a long trip like this. But as long as you get your water in you, and, you know, I hope I'm never in a situation like that. What's wrong, Zach? You burned your eye? I hope I'm never in a situation like that. But it's good to be prepared and to get out and rough it, and that's it. It's about developing that type of mental toughness you need to get out here and do a trip like this, of the longer style, you know. So tonight is just a little can of kippers, and I only got one more can left, and that bit of rice I got there. So we'll see what happens. But those kippers were good. Saka, you're already fed, my bud. And so are you, Barry. Barry just turned her head over. That rice is nice and good now. That's going to be good stuff. Just a bit of broccoli cheddar rice. Zach, you already had your supper, man. You're thinking maybe, eh? Maybe, just maybe. I don't know, bud. What's that? Ooh, piece of broccoli. Is it? It's down now. Oh, more broccoli. Mm. You want a little nip, Zach? Have a little nip? Whew, full now. When you're not eating as much, of course, it doesn't take as much to get filled up. I'm good now for the evening. And I gotta be, because no snacks, you know, no evening snacks. So, that's good for the body too to do this. And I look at it as some, I'm not fasting, but, you know, where I'm not eating as much as I need out here, probably burning, I don't know, if the other day going 25 kilometers, I mean, probably burned 4,000 kilometers, 4,000 calories or more. So eventually my body's looking for energy and resources from my own body, my own fats, you know, then my muscles. You know, we don't want to get into eating my muscle mass, but that won't happen. So it's good. It's like a detox coming out and doing this too, you know. I'm not filling my face every night and waking up with a stomach ache. Never. Only time I got a stomach ache or a tummy ache is if I'm hungry, and you know, as long as I got my little bit of breakfast, you know, my snacks, my couple Cliff Bars throughout the day, and then my pasta for supper, and you know, maybe I can afford a few oats in the evening, a small cup of oats, half a cup, and then I put butter in my oats in the morning, or I got a bit of butter and oil there, so a tablespoon of butter or oil in my oats in the morning, and same with my dinners at night time. So I got a few rations there, but again, Zach, what's up? You want to get in next to me, don't you? That's okay. Beer's here. Now it's Beer's turn. No, over here. Okay. There you go. But yeah, just trying to simulate, like, I mean, on a long journey, you know, a long expedition. You know, I could have to stretch out my rations. I could have 20 odd days, or, you know, rations left, or say I have 7 days of rations left and I'm going to be 2 weeks. Well, I got to cut those 7 days of rations in half if I think it's going to be 2 more weeks until I get to the finish line or the next resupply or whatever it might be. You know, on my trips I can fish, so that's a bonus. Last year in Labrador, in the end of the trip, I was in duck hunting season, so I got some ducks. But yeah, you know, those things might have to happen. So if I come out here for a week here and there, and this is the first time I've done this locally for a week, just random week, and struck off at not very much. I guess it'll turn out okay. You know, it'll be fine. I had some uncertainties with the weather, and, you know, whether or not we should turn and head back, because the snow and slush and everything else hard going on this trail. I'm still not to Stony Lake yet, and that's where we got to take Stony Brook back down towards Grand Falls area. So, you know, I got a bit of food, and I got the dogs have 9 days of food each. So I mean, at the pace we're going at now, we should be at the finish point in around 7 or 8 days total. But who knows? It could go into the 9th day, and that's why I had an extra supper or two, and dogs got they got their extra 2 meals for those for day 8 and 9. So, you know, worst case scenario for me, if we're here for 8 or 9 days, on day 8 and 9, I'm just having a thing of pasta both those days. That's it. No Cliff Bar, no oatmeal. It's all going to be gone, unless I decide to start rationing out the oatmeal, right? So, or the Cliff Bars, right? Just eat 1 Cliff Bar a day instead of 2 for the last couple days, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where the wind's going to take us. But anyways, you know, there's a lot. You get the gist. What I'm at here. So I figured I'd let you know. You know, because people are interested in that. And they always say, "What are you eating?" or "Show us your meal." Well, it's not much to show me cooking a pot of rice, right? Tonight was a can of kippers. Last night I didn't have. All I had was last night I had mackerel, can of mackerel with my pasta. But like I said, I only got 1 tin of those mackerels and herrings left. So after that goes, then I'm just down to pasta only. And some of those sidekicks only got like 400 or 500 calories in them. But it'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. Hey, Sack, what you doing, buddy? Hey? Oh, man, you're hot. Whew. Jeez, almost scorched the hand now if you're touching his belly. That fire's pumping out some heat, isn't it, bud? How you doing, Barry? Anyway, so that's it for this evening. It's going to be dark now soon. And pop in the tent, and we're back at it tomorrow. So it's going to be a nice day. Bear was just over chasing a squirrel.
But Saki, you had your go too, didn't you? You'll never get him, Sack. He's too quick for you. And now, Bear's peeing, you know, and every time Bear takes a pee, Saku has to pee directly behind her on the same spot. He could be 20 yards ahead, and if Bear pees, he'll turn around and come all the way back just to pee where she peed. Won't you, Sack? Don't get too tangled up over there now, Bear. Bear! You're gonna get yourself into a snarl, you knows that. Alright, go on with you.
Stay, Shaq.
Stay there. You don't want to chase him now. You don't want to chase him, okay? You don't want to chase him. So as we get ready to leave today, guys, hey Bear, everything's dried up. You know, it's a fresh start. All my clothing, undergear, sleeping gear, the dog's packs, it's all dried up. Yeah, beautiful morning. It's a dandy one out there. It's supposed to be warm today, getting up to 10 degrees. So I got no undergarments on, I got no wool underneath, I just got my thin cargo pants. And I am going to wear my wool summer gear underneath this hood, but they're not calling for no precipitation. And there goes Saku after the squirrel. But they're not calling for no precipitation, so I'm not going to need to wear anything waterproof like this jacket, you know. But it's supposed to be wet on Sunday, and because that's all I have when Sunday rolls around, tomorrow I'm going to wear this with just the wool thing. I'm not going to wear the sweater. Saku, come here. Saku, come here. Come here. Heel, Sack, come on. Come on. Let's go. Good boy. Good boy. Stay here. Come 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 here. Stay here now. That's okay. Leave him alone. Leave him alone, okay? Crazy. Yeah, so when it rains tomorrow, I'm just gonna wear this with a thin wool underlayer. I'm not gonna wear the sweater, so that way this sweater stays dry for when I'm sleeping and stuff, and we won't have an incident like we did the other day. But that's it. I'd say when I get going, I'll probably be just down to this only today, but I'll start with my sweater on, because right now it's probably 3 or 4 degrees above zero, though it's going up. Last night actually it was down to -5. I woke up at 2 a.m. and I got a thermometer on my watch, and I set it out for 15 minutes, and I was rolling around there in a sleeping bag, and when I checked, it was down to -5. And they were only calling for -2 on the inReach weather report. So that's it. This little rig now. Throw this on. This is nice. It's a mech. I don't know. I got it there the year to take the Labrador with me, and it's a hooded wool, merino wool hooded. You know, it's the thinnest wool you can get. Kind of a summer layer. It's nice and slight. And I like the hood for when it gets cooler out in the evenings. You can put your hood up and it goes nice and snug up to your neck. You know, it's almost balaclava style, you know. If you could bring it up a little further. So that's it. Tuck this in. Minimize heat loss, hey buzz. And we'll get going now. I'll get packed up.
and we'll be on the road. Got about a dozen kilometers to Stony Lake, and then we'll see what lies ahead there. Zach, you're interrupting my vid, man. You're not going to get that squirrel. He's good though, he goes right to the tree. Hey, don't you? You're a good boy. And Bear would too. They'd both be at the bottom of the tree, you know, looking up, tails wagging. So, if that was, you know, a partridge or a grouse or something in the fall, they'd be able to at least track it for me. And let me know where they are, you know. And Saku's done that one time before. There was a grouse flying around, and then he went to a tree, and I didn't know where he flew from one tree to another. I couldn't find him, and then Saku ran over and detected him for me. Anyways, I got my hat nice and toasty here now. Oh, too big. I had it a bit big. I was hanging it in my tent and the clothes hanger to dry. Here we go. Good to go. All right. And watch the fire, Bear. Here. Watch the fire. All right, it's time to go. Time to go. The boys got mad. Where is he, Zach? Oh, he got him. That's our trail over there. Yeah, I was thinking there was going to be a bridge here. There's been bridges over every stream so far, running into Great Rattling. Didn't see why there wouldn't be one here, so new game plan needed. Yeah, I'm going to sit down now for a minute and formulate a plan. I can go a little further upriver. It looks pretty narrow. We can cross it. I'll have to take the dog's packs off them. Make one trip across with my bag. Another trip with their packs in each hand, or maybe two trips, a pack each time. And then I got to make sure they get across okay, which that won't be an issue. They've messed around on rivers and brooks before, they'll be fine. I could even inflate the raft, and I see a steady just up above here, a bit further past the narrow spot of the river. Looks to be a steady some ways up there. So I could just go up to that and inflate the raft and get across. But I'm also thinking now, like, I just seen a small lake, so it was a pond to the left off the trail. It was frozen over.
I don't know if I get to Stony Lake and that's going to be frozen, which I thought maybe may occur anyways. Then there's no trail around Stony on the map anyways. That could be a difficult 3 or 4 kilometer slog around there just to get to the start of Stony Brook. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I could always turn around and go back, to be honest with you. I mean, we've had a good trip. You know, I just set out to have fun in the woods, you know, to go on an adventure. To try Bear out, and she's been doing great. Get me and Saku back in action for a lengthy spin. So, I don't know, I don't want to cross over here and go through all that trouble and then get 8 kilometers into Stony and realize that that's frozen. And we may not get across, so we'll see. We certainly don't want to go over that ledge, especially the dogs. That's why I'd prefer to go up that way. Alright guys, this is it. This is the steady. Found the way down. The trail we were on is just up there, and we came down over this marsh. Look at that snow, wicked bright now, hey? Sun's blazing. Even looks like there might be a little trail entrance on the other side that can join me back into the trail I'm supposed to be on. So I think I'm going to make a go for it. Shouldn't be too bad. I mean, I've done it before, I just didn't think I was getting myself into it on this trip. So, and it's going to take a bit of time. Hold up here, don't go in there. It's going to take a bit of time to unpack everything and inflate the raft and put the dry suit on and get over there and pack it all down. It's going to be a good hour process here at least. So, that's it. I think that's what's going to happen, unless I change my mind in the next few minutes. But I'm just going to sit here for a minute now and take in this beautiful upper section of Great Rattling Brook. Lovely, and see what comes of it. You're already going swimming, Bear, are you? You're already going swimming. You going to swim across, boys, or what? It's pretty slow water there. It down this way a little bit, but it's not rough, and it flattens out a little bit again there before it gets into the section where we just were. So I just threw a stick in there to get Saku out and see what the current was like. He got that no problem. Here, Zach, want to do another one? Test it out for Dad, huh? You'll be fine. Atta boy. Okay. You'll be good. And Bear, we know you'll be good. You can swim like a fish too. On second thoughts, I don't really need a dry suit. I shouldn't get wet just hopping in the raft here and getting across. It's still kind of cool out. I would say it's only 4 or 5 degrees max, so I didn't want to get wet, and I was thinking about putting it on, but from here to over there, making 2 trips, I should be alright. So I'm going to bypass the dry suit. Should be okay. So I'm going to let the dogs follow me on the first go, and I'm going to take the leash with me, both of them, and then I'll tie them on over there so they're not going to go follow me back when I come back to get their packs and the gun. So that's the plan. Well, it's situations like this that the raft is certainly made for. Come on here. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Zach. Come on, baby. Come on, Zach. Zach here does this, he thinks I'm leaving him. Come on! Come on! Come on. All right, perfect. I'm going to tie them on now. Good job. Hey, good job. Come on, there. Come on. Let's go. Come on, Zachary. Good job, boys. Good job, girl. Come here, Bear. Come on, Bear. Bear, don't mess it up on me now. Come here. Good job. The pups are fired up there now. I got them tied on though, because I don't want to be messing around now, and then Bear will be gone on somewhere, or Saka will back over, grab their bags and the gun and the camera that's still rolling, and come back over here. What a time. Watch the barking now. The boys are going to freak out now. Oh, I almost lost my GoPro there. The bear just freaking out. I was going to take the bag out, but I wanted to leave a bit of weight in the raft, so I'll fit everything in here now. Should be no issue. Saku's not even saying a peep. Usually he's freaking out too, but I guess he's just letting Bear take over and do it all. That's it, she wants to be with me, especially when I go out in the canoe or raft or whatever it might be. I'm not sure if she's making sure I'm okay, or she's just pissed that she's left behind. Anyways, we're here, boys. I'm here. All right, that's done and over with. Only took probably 25-30 minutes. Pack back up now, and we'll be back on the move to Stony Lake. And I thought I'd add, for those of you who watched the Man and Dog Through the Newfoundland Wilderness series, this is the same Alpacka raft. It's a beast, as you all know. And the burn holes where the fire incident happened were all patched up by Alpacka. God love them. It's right there. So it's quite the job. Good job, guys. Have a little treat. Hey, good job. Have a little treat. Hold on now. Bear your purse there. Here, Bear. Good job. Good job. Good job. Zach, you be nice. Good job, buddy. Yeah, good work. That's good guy, okay? Back cushion, bum cushion. She's got her all. That's also a couple jobbies I've patched up on the Newfoundland trip. Still holding strong. All right, ready to go. Saying goodbye to Great Rattling Brook, and for us, onward to Stony Lake. We got around 10 kilometers roughly on the trail, and who knows, there could be a few more surprises in store for us yet.